The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties.
Welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, along with my co-host, Otis Wiley and Jehuu Jehuu Caulcrick. This is Sparta. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for a lot of you for showing up this weekend, despite Choo being gone on assignment doing God's work. Thank you, everybody. But don't forget to click the subscribe and like buttons. Don't forget that. And then to follow us on all of our social media platforms. This is how.
Thanks for tuning in to This is Sparta MSU. Interested in hearing more from us? Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. Click on the link in the bio to head to our link tree for more information. Help us grow our following by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Tell your friends and family to do the same. Have an idea for a future episode? Let us know in the comments section below. And now, back to the show.
Hey, fellas, how you guys doing today?
I'm great. Tax day, baby. Tax day.
Otis has been working all day on them taxes. Choo.
I'm still recovering from the weekend.
Already rolling, Rolanda.
Yeah, you say you're recovering from the weekend? Yeah, how was that trip, man?
Talk to us.
Talk to us about that Sunday with the Michigan Panthers out here got a dub. Tell us about
it, it was good, man. You know, went out there to Memphis, played Houston Gamblers, a few Spartan Dawgs that were playing in that game on both sides of the ball. But everything was good, but that trip home, boy, we're supposed to be home at 7:30 on Sunday night. I didn't get home till 4:30 yesterday.
What happened, Chew? What happened?
Well, that boy was about to be on there, the final destination.
Right. So we leave the game. The game starts at noon. We're done. 2:30, 3, we're on the bus waiting to go. The head coach comes on. And he's like, hey, guys, something's wrong with the plane. We're going to wait for it. But in the meantime, we're going to take you guys to the movies to see John Wick 4. And in my head, I'm like, John Wick 4 is like a 3-hour movie. There's something really wrong with this point. So we go to see John Wick. We get there like 4:30 or so. We watch the movie. And then we're hanging out in the movie theater, hanging out on the bus. I'm running to the Whole Foods, grabbing a 6-pack because, just wait here now. 10:30 or so, we finally leave the movie theaters. We go to the tarmac. We're sitting on the bus. I'm like, okay, we should be getting off, getting checked and stuff like that to go on. The plane's sitting there. It's like an hour and a half go by. I see the lights shutting off on the plane. I was like, oh, man, what's happening? The pilots and the stewardess coming out of there, walking, carrying their bags to shut the door. 30 minutes later, they're like, hey, guys, we're looking to book hotels right now because the pilots timed out. They can't fly anymore. I'm like, oh, no. Here we go. So I was like, where are they going to find hotels for like 200 people at 1 a.m. in Memphis, Tennessee? So they found this house called the Guest House in Graceland. It's right across the street from Elvis's house. Is this resort and everything.
Elvis Presley?
Elvis the King. Thank you very much, Elvis.
Do it one more time. One more time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so then we go there, and then you sit on the bus because they have to make keys for all these people. They got to do all these things. By the time I get my keys, it's 3:15. And now I'm like, okay, no one told us when the bus is going to the airport tomorrow. So I'm sleeping with my ringer on so I don't miss that damn bus, So finally get it, and we get back, and we get on the plane yesterday at 12:30. We load up, we get back to Detroit, and the turbulence for one, and then we come to land. That plane hits, doof, and just bounces back in the air. And she's like, takes off. We're accelerating and we're flying up again. And then the pilot comes on. Yeah, that landing didn't work. Let's go and try that again. So we circle around for like 15 minutes and then come back and land.
And he was like, I'm about to die off of some USFL debut. Yo, man. Right. I'm glad you're safe, man. I'm glad you're on land, man. I'm glad you're on land.
We're very happy. We're very happy, man. We look at, the recap of last weekend. Do we have a video of the recap of last weekend with audience?
That was a lot of activity.
A little vision there.
Yeah,
That's
a lot
nice.
of activity, man. Like, it's always good to feel like that Spartan vibes when everybody in the spring is competing. You don't really, back when we were playing, like, you didn't really realize how much was happening during the day because you was like tied in. Me and Jehuu kind of talked about it, like, we had so much happening where we had that camp where you had a little youth camp where you brought in, it was a community service thing. You started in the morning. As soon as you got done, you had to get dressed and walk over to the stadium. And it was like all your day was pretty much gone. But almost a lot of guys that were able to finish playing up, go support softball, go see some baseball. It was a lot of vibes at the Izzo 5K. I'm surprised they didn't put that in there with people running and finishing the race before everything got opened up in Spartan Stadium. But it was the weather, man. The weather was great. Now that we experienced like that snow mixed we had on Monday, Tuesday, but the weather was like, thank goodness, man. I was just appreciative that we had great weather because we've never had that weather at 84 degrees. And since I've been a Spartan and love Spartans, I've never felt 84 degrees on an April month. So it was good. Good vibes everywhere.
Yeah, it definitely was. The weekend was buzzing, just driving through campus, seeing things, it was like a movie because, we're driving through, there were people in the quad, people playing lacrosse, people doing everything. It was such a cool vibe to be in East Lansing. Met up with a lot of, different people, some of the subscribers, had a little, sit down, had a little bevy or two with a couple people. Shout out to the graduate again, took care of us up there, hanging out with former teammates and everything. It was just an overall great weekend.
Without question. I mean, we hung out with a lot of subscribers, a lot of people who are in the chat right now. It was a great time. Choo-choo, you and I think we spent some time with Rolanda and Rochelle. They were out in, Lansing, after you had to take me on a tour to find clothes. I mean, it took, like 36 hours of shopping, something that I haven't even done with my own wife. But, that doesn't matter. You were the one that got me to do that stuff. And then we ended up, hanging out with some people. It was a good time, and not to mention like how ridiculous you are about trying to find the right fit for your body.
Hey, all I hear is burger body, and we lost Jehuu.
I know. And we lose him. We lose
right
him.
On time.
He dropped off and just on time. You don't want to talk about it. See, that's exactly what happens with Choo-Choo.
Listen, in the meantime, I gotta get a shout out, man. My niece is in the building. She's watching the show. So I just saw hi Uncle Otis. Hey Deja. Good seeing you. So yep, had to go ahead and show some love there. Yeah.
Hey. What's up, Deja?
Well, I didn't know you guys
until Choo-Choo gets back.
Yeah, I didn't know you were on the shopping spree though. Like,
oh man, it was ridiculous, man. Hey, this guy, he wanted like shirts with prints on them. He doesn't see anything. If it doesn't have like a certain print, like that jungle print, he ain't good with it. And I'm like, you know,
that boy, hey, which is he Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy on Coming to America?
He's both. I'm gonna tell you, like
man.
it ain't right unless he sees that print, man. And I'm like, look, man, hey, Chew, it's hard to walk into a normal store and buy off the rack when you're big fella.
Is it big and tall? Big and tall.
I've been a big fella since like I was 12 years old. Choo Choo still thinks he little fella like you. You know, you can go into a store and buy off the rack. Choo Choo can't buy off the rack, but only all of us, his wife, family, everybody, we're the only ones that know it. For something he doesn't know it. He think he can just walk into Macy's and just pull something and buy it. I'm like, bro, hey, that's a little young.
Oh man, I didn't even know that. Yeah,
it's great, man. I wish he was around to do that. Here he come. Here he come.
Look,
there he go. Choo Choo.
Hey, we need to put a jar on who has technical difficulties. You got to put $5 in a jar. So you got to start with Choo Choo because I've had some too. Stray is like at
I'm
least
the worst.
It's starting right now. Starting right now.
I'll
start right now.
Okay. Gotcha.
Start now. Choo Choo, I was just telling him how like easy it was to find your size everywhere, and it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, all these people like we're saying at the graduate, oh, go to Target. You can go just get anything there. We go to Target, there's like this one little, and I was like, where's the stuff for the men? The lady's like, it's right here. You know, the 2X came to it was like a crop top, you know, and I wear 2X. And
well, Tarjay is probably 3 though, because Tarjay don't have
4.
He had 4.
Tarjay about 4 or 5.
Tarjay don't carry them big sizes, big and tall now.
Right. And then we went to the mall and nothing, it wasn't hitting right, you know, and then we had to go to that secret stove.
The secret stove. Not store. Stove.
Secret
I wonder what that is, but
where all the finest garments come from.
The finest
garments.
Look, Raymond in the comments just said the math ain't mathing.
The math ain't mathing.
2 times 2 is 4x, boy. Anywho, man, I know. Look, I'm BJU. Let's get back to script.
Let's get back
to script.
Let's talk about the game, guys. He needs bigger and taller. That's funny from Cal.
They own you. They own you.
Yeah, you'll see. You'll see. You know what? I actually talked to today. I'm gonna get my summer body. I'll come out here with tank tops and stuff now. Y'all, okay. Okay,
hey, man, I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
in the gym.
Hey.
I'm in the gym. Holla at me.
I'll be up here with tank and something. Like what? The next time you see me, Stray, when I come to Cali in June, you see me, you're gonna be like, "Ooh, what's happening?"
Hey,
beach weather. It's time for the beach.
It's time for the JU low ball fade though with the taper. Bring it back, low ball fade.
No.
Look at
Maybe in the fall, maybe for the season. I'll cut the hair. I'll cut the hair for the season. This hair was bad luck last season.
Oh man, guys, let's talk a little bit about the spring game. Let's talk about the offense, starting with Choo Choo. You know, Choo Choo, you were down there on the field. You were doing sideline reporting. You had a lot of great interviews. What did you see out of the running back group, the skilled players on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I saw a bunch of guys that are going to be vying for position and for jockeying for position in fall camp. I think the only person really on that offense that really has a solidified spot, you know, in the skilled position there is Keon Coleman. He's the guy in the receiver course. He's that number one guy. The Keon Coleman is the one that has solidified his spot there. Trey Mosley is a great number 2 as well. But those receivers, you know, there's going to be some guys. There's going to be rotation in that for that third receiver. Fall camp is going to be great to see. You know, is Foster. He might be that guy that really steps up and be there.
Foster looks like that dude, Jehuu. He looks like a dude, right? Like exactly. He was a guy like that was he had some good minutes last year too. So
he might be a problem in the slot position there. So he's a guy that's looking to solidify that slot position, for the Spartans there. And then if you go to the running back, it's going to be running back by committee again. I think at the beginning of the season, right now, this past Saturday at the spring game, Berger, he's the one that he was like the starter, so to speak, if you said there was a starter. But I'm telling you, Nate Carter's going to be that guy that emerges and get those tough yards. Mangum, I like him too. He's a guy there that's going to be a tough yard getter. Put your nose in the fan and get those first downs, get those touchdowns. So those three guys are going to be, rotating through, but it's going to come down to whoever has the hot hand in the game. And I think some different games, there will be some other guys that have a hot hand and you have to roll with that person. But overall, I think by game 3, actually, the solidified starter will be Nate Carter.
I like that. I like it, man. I mean, look, great observation on.
But also, too, real quick, Straight. One thing I saw this year, and it's a big improvement that I saw with the running backs, is they're running north and south. We know last year we were frustrated. Yeah. We were frustrated with them, those side cuts and everything like that. This year, they're running north and south. And, I talked to Coach Reed a little bit, and I was like, hey, you're going to get those boys. He's like, those boys are going to be right this year. And you saw a little glimpse of that in the spring ball with them running north and south and some good cuts downfield as well.
So I'm interested in, we had Mangum choo-choo-esque trucking people without even we didn't even have full live tackle, and he's trucking people and looks the part. But you said something where he does need to work on some things, obviously, from a body standpoint of getting in tip-top shape. But he's going to be a bruiser if he gets into that mix, which I think he will, with the short yardage in offense.
But yeah, you hit it on the head. He's a big guy. He has the ability to truck people. But big backs have to learn to embrace being big backs, because right now it's sexy to make all those cuts and everything like that. He's got to solidify himself out of there and say, hey, my role is being a big back. And I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to go down, and they know I'm going to try to run you over every single time. I'm going to lower my head and do that. And what happens when you solidify yourself as a big back? You start getting those 3rd and 1s. You start being thrown in there. Those goal lines, you start being thrown in there. That's how you solidify yourself. But you have to learn to embrace being a big back. You're not going to be a scat back. You're not going to be a shifty guy. There's other guys on the team that's going to do that. And the way that college football is now, it's running back by committee. That is the problem. You go all the way back to Wisconsin when they had Ron Dane. Ron Dane in college, what did he do? He ran people over. He ran through their faces. He got to the NFL. He became a dancing bear. He played out of himself, and that's why he got bounced from the league.
Yeah. Can't dance.
Don't need to dance, but I feel like
Trevor Thompson
has that body like
not the starter. His dad, Choo-Choo, is going to give him a lecture. Oh, boy.
Absolutely. Well, I think about also he has that Connor Hayward. Remember Connor Hayward had a little bit of struggle, knowing his body, his frame of being a bruiser.
Right.
And you saw when he had that year where dude was catching, he was fitting into the offense, playing within himself, his capabilities. Yep. And it showed where he then became a threat. And I feel like that's an opportunity where I still didn't see our backs catching balls outside. They weren't really showing that much to showcase of hey, we got a little halfback screens in there for you guys with some swing passes. It's we're just going to keep it vanilla to keep people guessing. But I mean, I was pleased with the tempo of the running backs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also too in that receiver core now, Gates Jr. He could be a guy.
They said
Antonio
that he's Gates? They said Antonio Gates Jr. he will be the rising star. We talked about who would be that player that's going to shock us. Well, they said he was doing work when he was in his redshirt year. It just was trying to get acclimated to the life of a college student athlete. Mm-hmm. But now they're saying he's matured. He's still got a little stuff to work on, but they said his route running, and he's saucy, man. He obviously learned from one of the best, right? So it's only inevitable that he catches the last touchdown of the game, last play.
Yeah.
Although people said it was on a second, third string guy.
It don't
doesn't
matter. It don't matter.
It was the QB wide receiver connection, right?
Yeah, those boys on scholarship too.
You're right.
Yep. So we're only this offense here, Stray, is only as good as this offensive line is going to take us.
Without question. I mean, the offensive line, I mean, that's something that we looked at. We got a good chance to see those guys who it was a deeper picture than we had a year ago when there was like barely 4 or 5 guys. Guys couldn't even get through a full spring practice. This year, you have 19 bodies. I mean, you got a good chance to look at the offensive line, this past weekend with, the front line. You have Spencer Brown playing on the right side, right tackle. You have guys like J.D. DePlane. You have Nick Samac. Those are all returning guys. You have on the left tackle, though, there's guys like Brandon Baldwin, that just constantly have taken that next step to improve. They're definitely larger. They're long. They're improved. But we need to take that next step and be able to move people against their will. The mark of a good offensive line is to be able to move people against their will. And that takes leverage. That takes the ability to get low and use your hips, get your hands inside and fight. I mean, look, a lot of these defensive linemen now, they practice. We've seen that with Brandon Jordan, BT, Coach BT, that's now with the Seattle Seahawks over there with K9. Like, teaching all the hand movements and whatnot. You have to be able to counter that with your own hand movements and having independent hands, not the same hands, independent hands in order to throw those guys off. You didn't see a lot of defensive linemen that we would like to have seen in this particular game. They sat out guys like Zion Young. You got guys like By Job. Brandon Wright did play. Tunamise, the transfer from Texas A&M, played by Joe, like I said. But Simeon Barrow, that's a guy who just makes plays no matter who's in front of him on the defensive side of the ball. That's a guy that we can count on. Make sure that we do whatever we can. I don't know what Michigan State's doing as far as, coddling that guy, but he is a guy that we absolutely need to have. There's some comments that Mel Tucker talked about as far as attrition and moving up, that we'll talk about later on in this show. But my perspective, looking at the offensive line, you have some depth there. We need to get a little stronger. The freshmen that have come in, they're serviceable. Some of the transfers, guys like Blackstock, who's come in, he did play on the left tackle spot on the second line. He didn't play on the first team, but you want to be able to get those guys some comfortableness. Like they got to get out there because, look, we need the offensive line. Michigan State football will go as far as the offensive line will take them. If you can't protect, you can't open holes, you're not going to be able to throw the ball down the field to get to guys like Keon Coleman and all those guys that you just talked about. And you're not going to be able to run the ball with guys like Nate Carter, or Jaron Mangum, whomever is running the ball, if you can't open holes. So I put a lot of pressure on that offensive line because it does require them to be the best that they can be in order for Michigan State to win the most games that they can possibly win. Otis?
Let's not forget. I mean, we talked about what having Lee Carr on Saturday's show is, how vital it is for the tight ends to be involved in the blocking game. Because, we got tight ends that are going to stretch you and be a threat in the deep end. But you got to come down and be able to block, man. Like, you got to be able to hold your own. And almost that hybrid in JU2, the hybrid of a H-back where you got a little full back power, but also, you utilize the 2 tight end set. Like, we have that tight end room. We got some big dudes, man. Like, it looks like a basketball squad where, like, you got a bunch of big power forwards that truly, if we use them the right way, can be vital in this offense and the success for next season.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Otis. And those guys in that tight end room there, if you want to play at the next level, you're going to have to be a complete player. You're going to have to be, one of those guys that can block and also sneak out there and catch some passes. And, if I'm Malik Carr, I'm getting in the trenches. I'm sticking to the O-line. When they go on Pig Island during special teams and I'm not on special teams, I'm going there. I'm learning how to, take those steps, those choppy steps. Stray and I, we were talking about linemen taking those, short choppy steps and getting to where they got to go in the blocking game. I'm learning to do that. I'm going to talk to Coach Reed in the running backs room, be like, hey, how do we do a motion, everything like that. Stay low pad level, run behind your shoulders. How do you do those things so you can be the most complete player? And that way you're on the field a lot and you put a lot of tape on there, because at the end of the day, if you're playing at a Division I level, if you're playing in a Power 5, you're playing at a Michigan State, your goal is to play at the next level and do everything that you can possible to get yourself at the next level.
Right. You brought up a great point there, Otis and Brandon. You talked about, first of all, you talked about Malik Carr as a tight end. Phenomenal player, phenomenal athlete. And you can see the difference in his body from not playing basketball. This is the first time apparently in his life that he hasn't gone to the basketball side in between football and football. So, as football ends, he typically goes to basketball, which will then make you lose weight because you're running up and down the court. And then he's got to put that weight back on through the summer to be able to play at a high level in the fall. He's not doing the basketball right now. So Malik the Freak, as Steve Smith affectionately calls him, is a freak right now. He's looking like that. So is Keon Coleman. Those two were dual sport athletes. They're playing one sport now, and you can see it visibly with your eyes looking at them and how they look. I know Keon didn't play in the spring game, so to speak, but he's a guy that's going to be definitely healthy. Also, tight end Brennan Paracheck, the tight end, the freshman out of Dexter, I believe it is, Michigan. That 6'5", 230, I mean, he's like 235. I think he's more than that right now. That's a freshman that doesn't look like a freshman. He looks like he belongs out there. There's some transfers that are playing, I think, in the 2 and 3 spot, somewhere in there. But Brennan is pushing for playing time. He looks, to me, what an NFL tight end looks like, just like Malik Carr does. Malik Carr is like ready for the NFL. Brennan obviously has to have 3 to 4 more years before he is ready for that. So that room looks very good. Otis, I want to ask you, looking at the defensive secondary and the linebackers on the defense side of the ball, what did you see?
Well, I saw let's start with the linebacker crew. So the linebacker crew, it's good that we had 2 of the main guys, leading guys on the show on last Thursday and Saturday. Jacoby Windman, Kyle Holiday are like the yin and the yang of the group, right?
Literally.
Literally. I was like, Ebony and Ivory. Like, you keep going. How many? Let's go. Keep going. Salt and pepper. And you have guys that, like, they're really humble. Like, that was one of the things I came off of that last interaction Thursday or Friday. Humble guys, but will knock you out, right? Like, they will relinquish pain when they put that helmet on. And I like those guys that truly turn it on, turn it off. And that room, when you look at the linebacker room, that you got what? Kyle Holiday. What was the? I missed the comment. What was the comment? Otis having an earthquake over there.
The screen was just shaking.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, Otis got them heavy hands, man. He hit that table.
Yeah.
Boom.
Come at me. No, you look at linebackers wise, like, yeah, you have your leading your front runners, Kyle Holiday, Jacoby Windman. But we got a depth where those guys go down, like, we're not losing any leverage or any depth chart dropping, where usually you got guys coming out there like, oh man, I don't know this guy. You still got your boy and who do we have? I'm sorry, Darius Snow. We like have forgot about Darius Snow, but he's gearing up to come make a major comeback. So let's think about that. And when he gets put back into the pieces, you still got Aaron Brule, which by far is, you just consider him a starter because they kind of rotate from a standpoint of getting breathers. I also, look at, I can't even pronounce his name, but
my Goyote.
Coyote. There we go. Coyote. He's like your little hybrid. Like, I feel like he could be a little bit of a nickel back if he wanted to. He's not as big, but he is a guy that has a skill set that brings you speed. And I'm all about wanting to see our linebackers get proper depth when they hit the hook and curl in zone. And I want them to be able to say to the safeties, we cannot be beat in between the behind the line and in front of the safety. And that was the big Achilles heel for us, is the third down and longs, is those deep drags that were just right behind the linebackers, not getting proper, depth, eye control. I want to see that because I know we can stop the run because we got some go-getters and eating the football. But I saw a little bit of just resolve of like, that is our strongest group on our team, is the linebacker crew.
No doubt.
Now let's go to secondary. You're looking at, we're young. I mean, even Chuck Brantley. Well, Chuck Brantley is your senior basically. He's your vet, and then you got some transfers that came in. We have a young crew, but we also have some guys that had some time last year. And let's focus on the two safeties, which I'm very excited about because obviously I'm a safety. In that room, you got two young guys who are freshmen. Like, one's a sophomore, one was a true freshman. Both of them have the height, they have the body frame, and the speed. And from what I'm hearing is they're smart. They're smart as a whip, and they know that playbook, and they're leading by example, but they're also being vocal leaders. And it's hard to assess when you're looking at the spring because you know what's coming in as well. People forget our class that we got coming in. We got a few DBs and a safety coming in that's going to fit hopefully well with this safety room. We really truly only have like 3 safeties right now on the depth chart, and some with Dillon Tatum can go both ways. But I also heard Dillon Tatum was a solid guy at the corner spot from our guy Darquez Denard, that he has it, he's got it, and is really just putting everything together. And he's going to be nasty. And we all know Dillon Tatum and his family had his dad on. He comes from some good stock. And when when he goes out there, he's prepared for it, and he's going to add some element to us. And now I got to shout out 21. 21 is like my Nate Carter with JU, like 21. Like I can't. I'm gonna put all my eggs in that basket for him, man, and my stock. But I saw just more improvement in like the excitement of being on the field. Like, if you just didn't know if we wanted to be there last year, right? Like, that was just one of those things, like, people showed up and just wore the jersey and we gonna play, which I know that's not the case, but just overall, I just felt that vibe. But this one, it was like just fresh new energy, get rid of the old season. We got a new season, and just excited to be here. So it was a good assessment for what we're gonna see in the fall.
Good. Oh, I was gonna say, go ahead, Jehuu.
I have a question for both of you guys with, talking about the defense and rounding it off here with the linebackers and the secondary here. I know Coach Hazleton loves that 4-2. Now, we got guys now, and the goal of the game is put your best players on the field. We know what Darius Snow can do. We know what he can do as the vocal leader, as the quarterback of the defense there. Like, what are your thoughts now? Because there's 2 guys that I see that can fit this. If you want to run that but like, you can have like either Snow or Tatum as that third linebacker, because I feel both those guys can play that safety role as well. So if you need to drop that safety back, you drop one of them back if you want that 2 linebacker coverage there. But putting your best players on the field. I think both those Snow and Tatum on the field with Cal and Jacoby, I think that's putting your best players on the field. But right now, only 11 guys can play, So like, if you do that hybrid there, you can, figure out a way.
And for me, I look at that. That's a good point. When you look at the best athletes on the field, it's to be determined. as to what Darius Snow's healing process will be. I know the kind of player he is. He's got to get healthy. I don't mind if he takes another year. I don't care. Like, I want him to be as healthy as he can to play on this team. When I look at that linebacking room, I see a guy in Jordan Hall,
absolutely,
freshman from IMG, 3-time captain at IMG, which is unheard of. To be the way that he looks on that field, the practice that all of us saw on Thursday before the spring game, and the way that he looked on the field. I mean, the guy's huge as a linebacker out there. He looks like a guy, a throwback linebacker, like a hybrid. He looks like he is big enough to play back in the day where it was all power, ISO,
like a Percy Snow looking
type of guy. Yeah, but then also fast and athletic enough to cover guys and then run sideline to sideline, because it's a different game today than it was back then. I mean, Jordan Hall is a guy that, for me, as a true freshman, is going to put a lot of minutes on the board. He's going to contribute in a room, in a position group that is the best on the whole team. So that's what I look at myself. I think that him, my Gote, I think he had an injury. We don't know what happened there. I saw an injury during the spring game, something on an arm, a hand, something like that after a tackle. But as we all know how it is with injuries, especially, they don't talk about them. They keep moving the drill. Then we move on. I don't think it's a serious injury as what Darius Snow had to deal with, but definitely a serious injury. But then you look at, guys, what happened in the transfer portal today. The transfer portal is now open. It was open on Saturday after the scrimmage or practice. And Hamp Fay, former quarterback, now turned tight end, has entered the transfer portal.
It's like, I mean, it is what you haven't really been talked about in the competition. And so for anyone who's been, if you're competing with someone, no matter what industry or what sport, whatever, and you're not being even talked about out there in the public. And, it's one of those things, like, you have to turn that page quickly, man, and get out there, because, everyone is who's the first one, basically. Like, everyone is hitting the portal. So, like, you got to be attractive and you got to have that thing ready to go. And I'm hoping, like we had this conversation, is that you can't quit a job before you get the next job. And so you just hope he quickly gets that landing spot in the new school. Or he might be sitting in there longer than what he anticipated. But one, you can't really fault anyone who's trying to make the decision to better their future in football. And he has he's a 6'5", 240 quarterback. Like, I feel like he looks, remember we had Rocky Lombardi, which was like real thick, and you got to be mobile now, man. Like, I haven't seen him run, and I really haven't had eyes on him to give a full assessment on the reasoning, but it's just you got to go, man. You got to go and get something when you got three guys who clearly have separated themselves to be a group of three to then become selecting who will be the starter. And we didn't even touch base on the group. I think we left the elephant in the room on the quarterback breakdown from the spring game. So,
let's talk about it right now, Jehuu Otis. I mean, we're talking about it like Hamp Fay was a quarterback before. Everybody talks about a 3-man race right now because it's an open quarterback competition. You see Peyton Thorne, you see Noah Kim, obviously Caden Hauser. Those three are in a competition for the starting role. But what do you see? I see you shaking your head, Choo-Choo. Tell me your assessment.
Yeah. Well, first of all, good luck to Hamp Fay. It'll be interesting to see if he enters the transfer portal as a quarterback or a tight end now. But I think it's, at the end of the day, after watching that and seeing, the full thing, I think it's a 2-man race. I don't think it's a 3-man race right now. I think it's really a 2-man race. And then with that 2-man race, it's going to come down to this. Do you want a car that's going to get you to the office every day? It's not going to be a sexy car. It's going to get you from point A to point B. Or do you want a real sexy car that's going to get you to the office, but, you might get a speeding ticket because you're driving too fast? or you might do a little something right now. So that's what we have right now. Peyton Thorne is that car that's going to get you from point A to point B. He's that guy that he's been 2 years in the program, going in his third year in the program. Noah Kim is that sexy splash, that new car that's going to be there, that's going to get you. He's going to make play. He's going to wow you with that shiny car. It's going to be like, oh, wow, look at that. But he's going to throw those things, too, that's going to make you scratch your head a little bit. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's what do you want? I love the way Noah Kim plays the game. I love his escapability. I love the way that he can step up in the pocket and go. And I like he can throw on the run. He can sling that ball downfield. Peyton Thorne has a command for, of the offense. He understands. He's been studying, what to do, against this coverage and that. He just has that. He's not a guy that's going to, wow you with, all with a throw or with a play or anything like that. He has that capability. But, I just think at the end of the day, Noah Kim can make plays. I would love to see him connect more with his receivers off the field and everything like that, so they continue to build chemistry. And they can. So when he's scrambling around, they can make that adjustment without talking, so to speak.
Otis, as a defensive back, I was
following that analogy because I was like,
how'd I do?
I was thinking like, man, you riding like with some music turned on, with some, some sound system, with some, subwoofers or something. But like, I don't even think it's skill is obviously one thing, but it's the confidence factor for me. Like, you just feel like he is going to go out there, and this is Noah, to go out there and compete. Like, he's going to go out there and do what he can. Drew Stanton did that, where you knew Drew was going to run out there, and he didn't care if he had one leg or three leg, whatever. He was getting a first down, right? Like, and that's from a defensive standpoint of, I'm on the sideline, I'm getting water, I'm getting rejuvenated, getting my meter up to make sure we go back out. That Kool-Aid and Gatorade, I'm trying to get that, right? And I want to be able to look at the screen and be like, first down. Hear the sideline say 1, 2, 3, first down. I want to hear that more consistently before I'm like, oh man, another 3 and out. You hear punt ready every second of the time. That's what, especially when the skill guys are in special teams. Like, bro, that's more mileage, man. Like, you're children, what I'm talking about. Like, punt ready with box.
Right.
And so I just want us to be consistent and I'd rather have confidence in you being forceful down the throwing the ball deep, running, doing whatever before you just sit back there and tuck and run. I don't want you to tuck and run on the first two options in your progression. We gotta go, man, and be everything. I want to be in the huddle and hear how they're commanding. That's really what it is. I wanted you, Choo Choo, to go in there in the huddle and take that mic in there and just see what the call was. I just want to feel that.
I want to know. I think you're really just putting your skirting around. What do you think?
No, I'm not. I told you. Noah Kim is a guy that I said is going to go out there and give us our defense rest. It's going to be able to keep us off the field and score. Now, it really, how quickly, and Stray had a good point Saturday, is that it's going to be first game, second game, we going to have a dual battle still, but then Washington will name a starter. I'm like, name a starter now. Not now, but name it first week, second week of fall camp. Don't let us sit in there guessing on who it is, but I do believe Noah has taken that step and is from spring game. And it was really not that much to assess because it really wasn't a game, but he just looked crisp. He had more crisp. It was very buttoned up and was and knew it. He had that swag of a guy you need to have at the quarterback spot.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, I agree with you both in your assessment of what's going on. I feel for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, that the coaching staff isn't that high on Kim. If there was a push from the coaching staff to have Noah Kim in there, I think he would already be the starting quarterback based off of how he's performed in my eyes, in your eyes, and what we've seen. But there's certain practices that we're not at, that we get reports back that doesn't take the proper drops. He's not. His mechanics aren't correct. I think that Noah Kim may suffer a little bit from the gamer syndrome, and that's something that myself I had that in high school. I was a gamer. Like I didn't really think practice was all that big. But as you guys know, when you play Power 5 football, NFL football, all that stuff, practice is everything. Mm-hmm. Because those coaches aren't going to trust you if you don't do everything right all the time. But Noah Kim, I don't know what he was in high school, like 64-1 or something crazy like that. His record as a starting quarterback. He lost one game out of 60-something games, which is incredible. I think that he's a guy that when the lights come on, he gets calm. When the stage is bigger, he's more focused, which is great. But he has to break through when you're battling an incumbent who is a 2-year returning starter to be able to break through and be able to play, because that gives the coaches comfort. These guys make a lot of money. There's a lot of things on the line, and they're not going to trust you if you don't do things right all the time. If you're not following their progressions, when they ask you questions after each play, if you can't diagnose exactly what you saw, then that's going to give them pause. But for our eyes, looking at it from, the sidelines and from the booth or the TV, wherever it is, Noah Kim just makes plays after play after play. So what do you do here? You have a conundrum, which is kind of a rock and a hard place. This thing is going to continue on through the summer. It's going to be, I believe, in my opinion, there's going to be 2 quarterbacks playing against Central Michigan and Richmond. And then we'll see, based off of the results, the facts, the final statistics, if you will, before we get to the Washington game. Because you got Michael Penix Jr. coming in town, who's beat Michigan State in Spartan Stadium as an Indiana quarterback, and he also beat Michigan State at Washington as a Washington quarterback. So you got to have your ducks in a row right there, because that game is a pivotal game. Not the other 2 aren't a pivotal game, because you got to win those now. You better win those games. But that Washington game in week 3 is pivotal. And I think that game, you're going to have one quarterback that rides you all the way through, unless there's something that disastrous happens early in that ball game. So to me, I think that Noah Kim has to continue to work and continue to ignore the noise and continue to focus on what he needs to focus on. Same thing goes for Peyton Thorne. He's got to focus on being the best leader that he can be for guys to follow him in order to be the best player. Because ultimately, all we want to do is win as a program. And we need to find that best leader. That's just my 2 cents, guys.
Right.
Moving on, when you see the spring as a whole, guys, what did you think that you saw as a whole when you look at the spring as it wrapped up on Saturday? Choo-choo.
Yeah, I think there should be excitement for Spartan Nation. I think there's going to be a different team that takes the field. Come August, September 2nd, when we play Central, I think it's going to be a totally different team that is out there on the field. And one thing that I loved about this spring game, and one guy that really impressed me, and it wasn't really about his play. His play was good. This guy was like, from a standard, like I looked and I was like, I've never seen a freshman carry themselves like this. And that was Jordan Hall. He came in, he wasn't shell-shocked. He wasn't, like, oh my God, I'm playing at Spartan State. Yes, I know he had those feelings of excitement and everything, but it was business for him. And I think going to IMG, that prepared him for a level like this, that other kids don't have that opportunity to get prepared for a level like this. You can play at a big high school, whatever it is, but when you go to a school like IMG where they prepare you like you're in college, you come in and you position yourself to get on the field right away. And I think from what I saw from the spring game, Jordan Hall positioned himself to be on the field in fall this season.
That was huge right there. I mean, I saw people talking about they think he needs to be a captain as a freshman. I mean, geez, man, those are big statements right there. You know,
I was waiting on Nate Carter's name to pop out.
Yeah.
No, I think this spring straight, it gives us I love what Tuck did. I love what the staff did. It was strategic to like, we're not going to give anybody everything, like do the most in spring game. Like, it wasn't even spring game. Let's show you practice. Let's show you what we did. But really, the battles were won in the scrimmages on the past Saturdays previously in March and April. And so I think it's given us a little bit of motivating factor of like, all right, we got some dudes now, and we have the talent. It's now where we talked about multiple guys coming on our show saying culture. I think we got to fully focus on them guys gelling to when they come out there. You don't have Chew giving reports like no one's supporting nobody. Like, I think it's the details of that where we just lost last season. And to the point of we got guys still from that 2023 class that's going to join in the summer. Let's see from that group that didn't come in early enrollee to see how they fit in there in the team scheme. I want Coach Tucker to truly just take that stance, bro. Like, just it is what it is, man. Like, not say your job was on the line. It's like we gotta win, and we gotta bring in a quarterback and have that decision making ASAP. And that's just my feeling. But I think all in all, it was a good spazazz, almost like an inter squad scrimmage, just to say, hey, it was like an all-star game where no one wants to get hurt, and you want to show Spartan Nation that we did something in the spring, but we're going to put some things together to stack up in summer.
And good point, guys. You know, when you look at what Mel Tucker's post-spring game comments were, he talked about he's happy. He's fine. He's happy with the commitment of the players on this team right now. It doesn't feel like there's guys that, aren't buying into what he's talking about. I'm not sure how much attrition we'll have. Final spring practice. We'll see how things go. We may be able to add a couple of players. These next couple of weeks will be critically important for that. The portal can be somewhat unpredictable, so we'll keep a close eye on it. Now, what I hear there is, I'm happy with where we are, but I don't know if we'll have movement exodus-wise. Guys leaving, which will trigger us to go get guys. But it doesn't sound like a coach who's trying to go find guys to replace the crap that he has on his team anymore. He doesn't feel like that right now. But
straight, what Prime say? What Prime say? What's his quote? Like, what's his quote? What's Coach Prime's quote? They know where to find me.
Yeah, I ain't hard to find.
I ain't hard to find, baby.
I don't know, straight. I don't know. I look at that quote a little different.
Like there was no commitment, and there also was like,
straight. You said you don't think that he's saying to look to find. I'm thinking he's saying also too with the transfer portal that other schools are going to be losing guys to transfer portal. Hey, we'll take a peek and see. Hey, is this the right fit for us here? I don't think. I still think the Spartans are going to be aggressive in the transfer portal in the offseason here. We already had one person leave. Hey, that's another room. That's another for someone else. So I don't know. I think they're going to be aggressive in the transfer portal this summer.
Yeah, I think the aggression comes from if a guy makes a move, like Ham Fade. So there's one guy that they're going to go get. I don't think they're going to be asking guys to leave. That's my point. We've talked about that before. Under, Saeed, there was a lot of that. Hey, guy, it's the end of the road. I don't think that you're going to see that. That, in my opinion, that's aggressiveness. Getting guys out of there and then going to the portal to see what's there. I don't see that. but we'll see what happens. You know, maybe you're right. I don't know. I mean, look, there's always rumors and chatter out there about who may or may not go into the portal. I mean, Georgia had a freshman that played with Jordan Hall a couple of years ago. That was a true freshman last year, had 2 sacks in the national championship game. How can the guy not be happy? He's in the portal right now. A guy named Bear. I mean, so these are things.
Jordan still got his number.
Maybe he can replace Ham Fay. I don't know. But, you know, the world of the street is like it's a Texas / USC game for him, which means one thing, guys: money, right? So, look. I'm all for whatever it is that will make Michigan State a winner. That's what we want. That's what all 3 of us want. I'm sure that's what everybody that's listening to this podcast wants. Most of you, unless you're one of those fans from down the road. But look, guys, we're going to continue to talk about what we saw and then what's transpired in East Lansing and beyond after this message from our friends over at IHOP.
When you're smiling.
Introducing IHOP's new Eggs Benedicts. When you take a poached egg, add it to a crispy English muffin, fire-roasted poblano peppers, and shredded beef with our rich and buttery hollandaise sauce, you don't just get our handcrafted new Eggs Benedicts on your plate. You get a smile on your plate. New Eggs Benedicts in 4 delicious flavors, only from IHOP.
Hey, Stray, didn't you have the Eggs Benny today?
Man, those were phenomenal. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Which ones you had?
Man, I had those the poblano peppers, the hot one. I'm like a spicy dude, man. I did have my stack too.
Boy,
I ain't gonna leave the stack alone.
I hope you got a plunger.
Bro, hey man, I'm a vet with the spice. Okay,
right.
Going back to when I was probably 7 years old, man. Mama Bessie, God bless you. So she got me ready for that hot stuff. But guys, talking about IHOP, Charles Brantley will be signing in IHOP in Brighton this coming weekend. We got to have everybody show up for that.
Yeah, listen, this store is my favorite store because it's easy to get off the exit. It's right there. You can't miss it. But Chuck's a guy that is just a good dude, man. Very, very appreciative of the partnership with Kyle and with IHOP. And it's really show up. Let's show up and give this man some support, show him some love. Obviously, this spring, he wasn't able to compete, and he obviously wanted to be out there. So it's an opportunity to just show him some love. Like, we have not forgotten him because he is one of our best guys on the team defensively. And just show up and show out. But I know that everyone's waiting for Chuck, but Kyle, man, I'm gonna be there to get some crepes and not crepes. It's Eggs Benedict, and I'm gonna get them. Yeah,
they're good. They fired now.
All right. Eggs Benedict.
Hey,
Right.
Raven talking about she wants some crepes, and that's her baby number 2. That's Keon's mother. So she's gonna be there. I know you're gonna be there. Otis Chew, what's up, man? We gonna do something?
I gotta be in Canton.
That bad. I gotta be in Canton.
Trust me, I'd rather be knocking down some stacks than
Oh, that Cal Fair. I love supporting great men like him and Cam. I saw Art Duvervise talking about he loved the pick going back to the Michigan game, which is awesome, guys. So I hope that more people can come out and support Charles Brantley, who's one of the key Spartan. I mean, you talk about SD Spartan Dawgs for life. That is a guy right there. He embodies everything that we stand for. I mean, we love Charles, Keon, and everybody, but Charles is a guy that we gotta support when we have the opportunity to do so. Looking at other topics, gentlemen. NBA basketball. We have a defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, man. You got Draymond that's winning this. You got Jaren Jackson. Huge testament to Coach Izzo, man. Like, we talk about defense. Defense also pays well too in the league, man. And like Kawhi Leonard will always say, Boardman get paid too. So Jared Jackson is also a bucket, and he had an outstanding game. It was yesterday, 2 days ago, and it's just good to see Jared when he came in as a young pup out of Indiana, Carmel, Indiana, and it's just good to see him. And Xavier Tillman is also a solid defensive specialist on that team too. So good. Kudos. That's my signature word. Kudos, Jared Jackson, for getting that award, man. Because there's a lot of defensive guys that play some great defense in the league, and for him to be the player of the year is a huge, huge, huge feat.
Yeah, I think it was. Maybe looking back at it now, it was selfish of me when he was leaving early. I was like, man, is that the best decision for him? But obviously it was the best decision for him. He's out there. He's doing his thing. Congratulations to that young man. That's, what is it? He's the youngest defensive player of the year
ever, right? Only 3 schools have 2 defensive player of the years.
That's
great. Steve Smith.
Oh, all right. See, it's good. Legendary.
Without question. I mean,
so don't come here if you can't play no defense. That's what it is. Don't come to Michigan State if you don't want to play no defense. True story.
What about this other defense we're going to talk about?
Yeah, let's look at this other defense. Draymond Green last night.
We say, oh, Draymond, this, that, and other. His reputation is going to precede him. So I think he might end up getting a suspension or something like that. But I think, he got ejected from the game. Let it
Chill. Did you see the antics after though? That's what really was like, all right, man, like it's all good. It's good, J-Day. It's good, dog. You straight. I mean, he talking to the crowd like it was going ham, dog. It was going ham.
Harriet. Oh, J-Day Harriet.
Like you love it. You love the fire. You love the fire in him as always. But it was like, man, you got the playoffs and y'all down 2. Y'all down 2 games, bro. Like, people still believe that they're gonna win, especially when you go back to.
But the thing is, too, though, you gotta look back, like all those crucial moments, like
turns the tide.
You got to think though, like, well, Golden State, and I don't want I'm just throwing this out there, putting my media hat on. Well, Golden State said, okay, that's enough. Like questionably when they played the Cavs and LeBron, when he got ejected, that turned everything. And he missed that game and they came back and won a championship. And now, they're down 2 games and he had an antic and might be suspended and stuff. Does Golden State say, hey, we love you as a player, but, hey, let's move on? Or
not a chance.
Absolutely not.
Not a chance. You talking about 4 championships?
That man is
no way, bro.
I'm just being devil's advocate. I don't want him to go anywhere.
I know you don't.
I like him.
He ain't going nowhere. He didn't lose him a championship.
Listen, I get it. Golden State saying that's enough, but the Kings balling, dog. I don't care what they are balling. So it ain't like we know Golden State's always balling, and Steph is gonna get his and Clay. The Kings are playing great ball, and it's been a long time since the Sacramento Kings has played great ball. So it's going to be a good next game when they go over to play Golden State at home. So now I'm ready to highlight our next guy. Like we call him Leprechaun, baby. Leprechaun.
Who else is playing well is the kicker, Matt Coughlin. There he is, USFL Special Teams Player of the Week. Choo-choo. Talk about it.
Talk about it, man. It's your favorite subject, man. Look, this is the best part. We're on the sideline.
The kicker's not welcome.
Come on, straight. The kickers are kicking. I don't even know what drill was. They were kicking. Jehuu comes from the other opposite end, the south of the field, comes to get me. He's like, look at those kickers. He's like missing wide open, like no pressure. It's like, look at those kickers.
They were out there giving souvenirs. People in the stands for catching them outside the uprights, catching the balls.
Oh no.
Well,
you're not excited about it?
Congrats,
But I mean, he's in the USFL,
Congratulations,
man. Give him
Tim.
his flowers.
I'm giving him his flowers. He's a Spartan. I'm going to support him, at the next level. I'm giving him his flowers. Like, what else you want me to do?
Next,
Hats off to Matt. Hey, man, congratulations.
Yeah.
Man. I think his father flew us one time. His father's a pilot, airline pilot.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Look, man, look, it ain't easy kicking. And for him in his first game, correct? His first game being the player of the week, special teams.
That's great. That's great. Hopefully he gets an opportunity at the NFL at the end of the season. He can go to a camp and make some money.
There we go.
I'm happy for that. Shoot. I don't want no one to not get your paper, boo-boo.
Hey, come back and give something to them boys in green and white. That's what we want him to do. Make his money and then give a little NIL deal for kickers. I don't know. Maybe that can help us, right? We're searching for something. But thank you. Good congratulations to Matt Coughlin.
This one I'm excited about. This next shout out here.
Like I said, this is Sparta. It's not all about MSU
special teams player of the week.
It's not about
but without further ado, we'll end the show. We'll talk about this. The dodgeball national champions have.
Let's go.
We have a national champ in East Lansing, guys.
Champ is here. Look, this is Sparta. We just don't highlight Michigan State athletics in all our sports. Like, it's university, as you've seen if you watched our show. When Chu found this, like, who found this? And
I did.
No, we talk about. Did we have the bracket? Because you talked about the schools in the bracket.
Look at that.
You was a 1 seed. First of all, let's go here. Like 1 seed, Final Four. You got Cincinnati. You got James Madison. You had Grand Valley. And I know Stray was like, man, why? How is it Division II schools in there? I was like, it's kind of like hockey, where you got hockey like Ferris State's a Division I hockey program, right? But this is an opportunity where next time I'm about to go watch them, man. I bet you it's intense, yo.
Right.
I'm guaranteed it.
I want to know too. And if anybody on this podcast that's listening can get us one of the players to have us a guest on the show, let us know, because we will have them as a guest on the show here. I want to know where they play. What
it's got to be IM. It's got to be IM West for sure.
Their season, like how the travel and everything like that. So I think Harriet, if anyone can find them, I'm part of a dodgeball players or sign the bus or something. So.
Yes.
Dodge, dip, dive, duck it. What is?
That's off the movie Dodgeball. Yeah, that's why I was like, Ben. We should get Ben Stiller on here, man.
When's the ring ceremony?
Awesome.
We got to do it. We got to have him on the show and congratulate him. And Choo Choo. You got to get in there and play a little game with him. I'll be happy to play a game with him.
I don't do dodgeball.
Why not?
It's too barbaric.
Oh my!
This boy.
I was always against dodgeball in gym class too.
It's more barbaric than what you've been through tougher times than this, Choo Choo.
Yeah, I do dodgeball, Skip.
Yeah.
When's the parade? We working on it. Yeah, we got to hang a banner in the Breslin or something. I don't know. Dodgeball national champs. I can see it.
Before we take off.
Yeah,
before we take off here, I know we got to go, but shout out to Mama Hall. She's like that. She's gonna be the grand marshal of the homecoming parade here soon, huh?
For 4 years.
For sure.
Leading the troops, talking to recruits, talking to families, doing it all.
It's a national treasure. We love Mama Hall.
That's a great environment that we like here.
The strong mothers of Spartan parents.
Peggy, Dr. Peggy. Over at the parent tailgate, we had a great time there. And, Matt Kufta, you brought them wings, and we'll talk about them wings when we talk about what we got to talk about. But, Matt, great job.
And Mama Carr, Malik Carr's mom, she brought
Peggy, that's what I said.
That's what he said, Dr. Peg, yeah.
Oh, okay.
First of all, one little known fact, Mama Carr was Miss Michigan basketball, and she's going in the Hall of Fame, Detroit Country Day now.
Okay.
She a baller now.
We was
trying to get her on the show on Saturday, but
my only gripe with her is I look great, but she only brought one little thing. It's like,
Hey, I guarantee you she'd be like, but you showed up empty-handed, though.
Nobody knows what he said, but you'll rewind it later on. Hey, thank you guys for tuning into the show. For Otis Wiley, Jehuu Caulcrick, I'm Jason Strayhorn. This is Sparta. Have a good night. God bless. And go.
come on, Oak.
Go
Go
light.
Oak.
This is Sparta MSU as a combined presentation of Playfly Sports Properties and Michigan State Sports Properties. The show is produced by Pete Menez with additional support from Tony Costella. Operations and social media support is provided by Alicia Strayhorn with support from Cecily Max Brown. On-location technical support is provided by Good Fruit Video. Be sure to follow our hosts Jason Strayhorn, Jehuu Caulcrick, and Otis Wiley on social media. To stay up to date with all the latest, this is Sparta News. Please like and subscribe by visiting our link tree and tell a friend to do the same. Thank you for your support, and as always, go green.